Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So, welcome to week number 7 of our audio production training. Today, we are gonna be learning a few things about auxes, buses, so forth. We're actually going to skip a few things because of time. I will teach you them in person, and when we meet in a couple of weeks. So, this is what we are covering from here on out for the audio production training. What is an audio mixer and what does it do? We're covering that today. We're covering buses or auxes. And I believe next week we're covering mixing monitors. All right, so let's start off with a word of prayer as usual. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us here virtually. Pray for us to have understanding, for the right questions to be asked, for things to be taught the way it needs to be taught, for everyone to understand, to be on the same page that I expected them to be on it. After learning this, pray that they're able to apply this and continue to improve. In Jesus' name I do pray, amen. What is an audio mixer? So, just a brief overview. We have all different types of mixers here. We have an analog audio mixer. We have a digital audio mixer. We have another digital audio mixer. And we have a hybrid mixer. So analog audio mixers, dinosaur now. They do not have compressors on them, reverbs, anything like that. Just EQs, auxes, subgroups, things I'll show you in person when it comes to subgroups and also DCAs. Pan and left and right. I'll show you that in person as well. They have everything that a digital mixer has when it comes to the basics, I'm saying. It doesn't have EQ, doesn't have effects like reverb, delays. Again, it doesn't have a compressor. It sounds really good too. It's a different sound from the digital mixers. All right, so I have over here the audio mixer I would love to get you guys, the Allen Heath S6. It's a digital audio mixer, 48 inputs, touchscreen, all that. It has compressor effects in it, so forth. This audio mixer, the Behringer X-Ear, I don't remember which model, sorry, but 16 input, yeah, that's the 16 input one. All right, so this one, as you see, doesn't have a touch screen, but and it has no faders, no way of really controlling the volume of each channel, but it does have the inputs and outputs that you need for a small event, like a wedding with a small wedding band, something like that. Corporate gig where there's only 3 microphones used to talk on, maybe. And you have to be able to control the volume, you have to use an iPad or a tablet or a laptop to connect to its Wi-Fi. It has its own Wi-Fi built in. And you can mix off of that wirelessly. The app that it has for it, you download it and you can mix wirelessly. Um, and then we have the hybrid mixer, which is a combination of an analog mixer, predominantly analog, really, and it's you know got a screen right there where you can navigate around, which is very similar to a digital mixer. So that's why it's called a hybrid mixer. What is an audio mixer? An audio mixer is an essential piece of a sound system setup. It can receive and send multiple inputs and outputs. It gives the user the ability to increase or decrease and mix the audio signals. It gives the user the ability to change the tone of each audio signal. So let's go through this one step at a time. An audio mixer receives multiple inputs. So let's go through inputs here. On the back of the mixer that I would love to get you guys, it's the Allen Heath SQ6. It has 24 analog input, XLR analog inputs. These are female inputs. We're going to get to that in a moment. And then we have the stereo inputs, quarter-inch inputs. We have two sections of it. And then we have the foot switch. So let's get to first the analog XLR inputs. And we have a talkback mic. Let's get to that in a second too. So for these inputs, these are female connectors, female inputs. The females, if you want to think of women's and men's parts, let's keep it PG. These are inputs, female inputs, and you would use, welcome to people coming in. Please, cameras on, cameras on. All right, so when it comes to inputs, these are female XLR inputs. Cameras on, everyone. We use a male part of XLR. We have two sides. The female, we have the male. With the female, we have the male. So this is the male because it has the teeth, the pins. It's a female because it has the holes. All right? Okay. So if we want to plug into the audio mixer, the back of it, we're using, to plug into the female XLR inputs, we're using the male XLR cable, the side of the cable. Plug it in, and the other side, we'll plug into a microphone, like a microphone that takes the XLR input, we call those corded mics, or the wireless receiver of a wireless microphone. The DI box that a keyboardist is connected to, electric guitarist is connected to. So yeah, so these are what, just a few examples of what this is for. And then we have the talkback microphone, where the sound engineer can connect the microphone, a wired microphone to this. Like I said, use the male XLR inputs. Sorry, male XLR side of the cable, yeah. and you plug it in, connect the other side, the female side, to a wired microphone, and you could route it in the mixer to just for that microphone only be heard in the musician's in-ear monitors or someone's floor monitor. So like if your musicians have in-ear monitors, we could communicate with them, like communicate with the drummer, hey, can you play a little softer? Hey, can you fix this microphone on your drum set? That's a little off, it's like pointed too far down, can you point it up a little bit more? Little things, you know? Just a way for the sound engineer to communicate with, for example, the musicians. Connect the microphone. They have their headsets up there on it, playing their instruments, and we could communicate with them without the audience knowing. That's the talkback input right here. All right, so the stereo 1/4 inch input. We have one over here and we have two. Just in case you needed two, they gave you two, but for a lot of situations, we always need one. Really only need one. So that's for this cable, where you would connect the phone to the mixer to play someone's tracks. So this cable is called an eighth inch to stereo 1/4 inch cable. 1/8 inch plugs into the phone or the adapter. 1/4 inch cables, stereo 1/4 inch cables connect to what you see the stereo inputs are on the back of that mixer. And then we have the foot switch. Foot switch, you connect, let's say, in the same foot pedal that keyboardists have, right? You connect that 1/4 inch side to the back of the mixer, and it could be something. It could be used as a shortcut to get through certain pages. So you could register. You could route it on the mixer to like where anytime you step on that foot pedal, it goes to a particular page that you would need for the mixer to go to quickly, or that you would need to go to quickly. That's one way. It's like a little way of you can use it as a shortcut to navigate the board. You can use it to trigger a delay, a reverb, a few uses. Yeah. All right, welcome to the folks that just came in. Cameras on, cameras on. Cameras on. I want it to feel like a classroom, like we're in person. All right, so now we have the outputs. One of my favorites to deal with because it can get a little complicated in a good way. So I have on the back of this mixer, by the way, for those that came in late, this audio mixer is one of the audio mixers that I've been looking at for your church to get. It's very cool. It's the Allen Heath SQ6 audio mixer. It's a digital audio mixer. This is the name of the manufacturer, Allen Heath. This is the model, SQ6. You could YouTube it when you get a chance. But I'm kind of showing you it right now.
Is this the 46 channel one?
48.
Yeah, okay, sorry, but that's what I meant.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's easy to train people on. Easy for people to learn. It sounds great, and it's very flexible, and you can grow into it. So we have the S-Link output. This uses a CAT cable. You've seen these before. All right, so these are what you would connect from a router to a PC or something like that. Yeah, but you could use this also to connect the audio mixer to a digital snake. Right now in your church, you guys have an analog snake. But there's about 3 different types of digital snakes from Allen & Heath, the manufacturer of this mixer, that you can use to connect to, depending on what you're trying to do in the setup. So if you connect that using a CAT cable, I like anything that's CAT 6 and up because they're faster when it comes to transferring information over the cable. CAT 5e is slower. If you do your research, CAT 5e and CAT 6 and up, like CAT 7s, there's difference in speed the higher the number. I've heard about CAT 8s already. People are using that and it's super fast. So that's how we would send all the inputs plus the inputs from the digital snake, because the digital snake will also have inputs as well. You know, it's placed where the musicians are. So you could have the musicians' microphones plug into that digital snake. You can have the wireless mic receivers that are in the back in the sound booth connect to here to the back of the mixer. So you have 2 ways of connecting inputs from the digital snake in the front of the room and from the sound booth where you have the audio mixer. I'm sorry, where you have the microphone receivers connected to the audio mixer to the back of this. Yeah, to connect to the back of this audio receiver. Audio mixer. I'm going too fast. Do you guys understand? All right, so, okay, yes, I got it, yes, good, good. So, so that's the S-Link. Just went over that. That connects to digital mixer. This right here, network, that uses a CAT cable as well, and you can connect that to a router. And so your audio mixer has an IP address. In the mixer, you can see what the IP address is, and even the mixer. And so this allows you to wirelessly mix your music, sound. So you can walk around with the iPad, a tablet, or a laptop that connects to that network. Input connects to. You use this cable to connect to a router, which creates wireless connection for your iPad for you to mix on laptop, so forth. So it's cool. I love to use this because sometimes I need to go on the stage to fix something, but I want to make sure I have an iPad or a laptop with me to lower or raise up anything at last second. And then we have the USB output that allows you to connect to a laptop or a computer that has, let's say, Pro Tools or Logic Pro for multi-track recording. Some mixers allow you to send out 32 of the inputs. Some allow 48. Some allow only 16 channels to be sent out. So it depends on the audio mixer. All right. Skip over to AES output. AES output allows a digital signal to be sent. A certain amount of channels can be sent across this as well using an XLR cable. Some mixers you could send 24 channels, some mixers 32 channels. You could send audio signal through this to an audio interface, for example. That takes AES input. This is digital signal. Sounds different from, well, digital signal is different from analog signal. I have not tried the AES output on this mixer, but I know when it comes to digital signal in general compared to analog signal, it is a much cleaner sound. But when it comes to this setup, this AES output, I don't know how different it would sound compared to the analog outputs here. I don't know. I don't want to touch that. But audio interface, for those that do not know, this is an example of one that takes AES input. It's the small letters here. It takes an AES input, and it will come out USB to a computer, to a laptop, for like a recording. So there's a stereo output for some mixers. Yes, it's stereo output. For some mixers, it comes in stereo. So it depends on the mixer. It depends on what unit it is. It can get a little flexible. All right, and then we have the A out. I know it's a small prints, and B out. So these are 1/4-inch outputs. If you want to, let's say, output, let's say you want to send this to something that takes a 1/4-inch input or XLR input. I'm trying to think of an example. But it is an output. You can use a 1/4-inch cables to come out of this to connect to something, to send signal through that 1/4-inch cable. All right, and we have XLR outputs. If you look closer, 11, 12, it says left right here for 11, and it says right here for 12. This is your stereo house outputs. This is for the left speaker, for the house speaker, the speaker that the audience is hearing. This is for your right speaker that the audience is hearing. All right, so these other outputs, you can use like this one for your pulpit monitor, connect the XLR cable. For those that came late, this is male output, the one with the pins for, I'm trying not to get rated R here, but we understand what males have and we understand what women have. So this has the pins pointed out, poking out. This is male. These are females. All right, because they have the holes. All right, keeping it PG. All right. So I have the female XLR cable with the pins, and that goes into the male XLR output. That, and then the other end will connect to a floor monitor. That's your pulpit floor monitor, so everyone on the pulpit can hear themselves, whatever's coming out of their tracks. Number 2 can go to the overflow, connect to a speaker or 2 speakers in the overflow. This could be for the internet stream. And so on the mixer, you're able to individually control these outputs. You can even EQ the outputs. Any questions? And so let's continue on. An audio mixer gives the user the ability to increase or decrease audio signals. So just basically raising up the volume, lowering it with the faders. These are called faders, for those that did not know. All right, and then an audio mixer gives the user the ability to change the tone of audio signals. So we have the parametric EQ. I believe we practiced that last week. We have the compressors. I'm going to show you guys that in person. A way to control dynamics of an audio signal. And then we have another way of changing the tone of an audio signal is by using reverbs, delays. All right, so by the way, reverbs, let's briefly go over reverbs and delays. A reverb is like a room's acoustic. So like, you know, some of you guys think you can sing because you sound good in the bathroom. So that's the bathroom reverb. We have manufacturers that have created reverbs, electronically recreated different room reverbs, even created their own stuff, and you're able to use it on a digital mixer, on singers, on instruments, and so forth, without going to the bathroom to create that. And then we have delays. Delays, basically an echo, and you can control how many times that audio signal or that echo, the echo repeats. 2 seconds. It can repeat for 1 second. You heard a lot of reverbs and echoes in your favorite songs, even songs that are not even your favorite songs. Like Whitney Houston songs, remember how her voice sounds? A lot of reverb in her voice. There's probably even some delays for certain tracks too, but it probably doesn't echo for a long period of time. Any questions? So many things we will go over in person. All right, so it seems like you guys are good, right? It's very straightforward. At least try to make it. I'm just going over to my other slide. So for those that came in late, I believe next week will be our last week when it comes to the audio production training. And Lewis and I would schedule a time for us to do that one in-person training for the audio production. And we'll probably have a week or two off, and we'll jump into video production trainings for about 6 weeks, once a week. So this will go into until August. So from spring to summer, to most of summer, we're doing these trainings. Look at that, wow. Time flies. All right, so, mixing monitors. I know we have some musicians here. We have probably a singer here. But I know you have some pushback when it comes to certain things. Oh, some disagreements on the sound, how things can sound in the flow monitors. Singers want you to make it sound better. You may not know how to do it. So this will help you out. And when I come in person, you'll be able to see me do this as well. So mixing monitors. What are monitors in live sound? Monitors allow singers, musicians, and presenters to hear what they want to hear in their mix. So a few examples of monitors. I recommend you take a picture of this. So we have the floor monitor, which every church has. We have the personal in-ear monitors, just for the musicians mainly. They have their own little mixer to control the sound in their headphones. Connect the headphones on this side somewhere. They can change the EQ, compression, raise up and lower every microphone that's being sent to them from the audio mixer. And we route what we want each channel to have. You could chat with the musicians, ask them what they want for each particular channel. This is 16 channel audio mixer. This is not something you guys would have to do. This is something I would do when I'm installing the equipment. And then we have the wireless in-ear monitor. So this is a receiver for this battery pack, and you have these in-ears. These would go in the in-ear of the singer or a musician. This is normally used in large events where you have to have a monitor sound engineer on stage to mix everything for each singer and musician. And we're going to get to that, if not today, next Sunday. And so it works wirelessly. This has a battery, takes a battery. You have to sync up you have to make sure they have the same channel, just like a wireless mic, frequency channels. Yeah. So, two different ways to mix monitors. Bus or the aux. Sends are used on a front of house mixing console. The front of house engineer has to mix both the sound for the house speakers and for the monitors. All right. Now for you guys, Lewis, you asked, do you recommend the in-ear monitor for small rooms like ours? I recommend that for musicians, yes. And that's in the package as well. The personal one, Stevens, I recommend for musicians. For a large church, you might need to have an actual audio engineer that specifically mixes for everyone on the stage. And that's where you use the wireless one, the wireless in-ear monitor for large events, large churches. for smaller churches, for most churches, personal in-ear monitor, where the musicians control what's in their in-ears. But the reason why you would use this for large events is because there's so many instruments on the stage, so many singers, so much going on. You know, it wouldn't work for if they had this. It'd take longer for them to mix. They'd be focusing more on mixing than playing. Yeah. Clarice, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I've seen people, while playing, communicate verbally with the other musicians. Is that done using any of these? Yeah, that's personal in-ear monitor. I mean, you could use it for this, or the sound engineer that's mixing only the stage, because they have a separate audio mixer on stage or at the side of the stage. And he will raise up the volume for those particular talkback mics. But for most churches, personal in-ear monitor, we just have one channel. One of these channels will have a talkback microphone for musicians to hear each other, or they can hear whoever has the microphone, whichever musician, like Minister Music, that has a microphone. If they could raise up that person's mic in their headphones. Yeah. Good questions. So 2 different ways to mix monitors. We're back on this. So just like what I said, you can have a separate mixing console specifically for the monitors. This option requires a monitor engineer. That's what they call them. The audio console is normally near the stage or on the side of that stage. This makes communication between the monitor engineer and everyone on stage easier. So let's focus right now on mixing monitors from the front of house engineer position. This is me somewhere in 2019, 2018, when I had hair on my head, mixing sound at CWC, SDA Church. And someone just gave me a thumbs up. I think that's kind of cool. I don't think you guys see what I'm seeing. Yeah, a little cool thing I see on Zoom now. I put a thumbs up and I get a thumbs up or something. Certain things catch me off guard. So, yeah, I was listening to I would put on the headphones to listen to the floor monitors on the stage that the singers and the pastor are hearing. I mean, I could use a studio monitor too. I could use either or, but I trust my headphones. And it's a good way to isolate yourself from the noise around you. Whatever, people passing by, talking in the hallway, put on a headphone. You could close back headphone. Closed back headphones block out sound from outside. But some people are comfortable using studio monitors. This is only one of the 2. There was another one somewhere over here. So you would solo that line of the floor monitor so you can hear what they're hearing on stage. The balance between the instruments, vocals, the balance between the vocalists amongst each other. And actually next time, because time is up right now, so actually next time we're going to cover mixing monitors from the front of house engineer position. All right, so these are the steps that I take to from rehearsal to get things right, because what you rehearse is what you do during the event. All right, so any questions? Anything that you need me to go back to? I want to see your faces, so I got to stop sharing. What do you mean, Louis, when it comes to how about position with mobile wireless device? Okay, when it comes to iPads. Yeah, so there's an input called network on the back of the mixer. Actually, it's input is really an output. Yeah, but you basically plug it into the mixer and plug the router into the mixer using a CAT cable. And you would connect your iPad to the router so you can wirelessly mix the service. Whatever's on the audio mixer will show up on the iPad. Good question. And it takes time to mix on those apps, because it's an app you have to download too onto the iPad or computer, well, laptop. It takes a while because it looks different from the audio mixer when you're standing like in front of the audio mixer. Some are easier than others. So Louis said, where's the best place to be to mix sounds? Front, back? It depends on what you're trying to do. For me, if you ever saw me at a church doing sound or any event, I'm always walking around. And it's because I just want to hear how each area of the room sounds. I do that during rehearsal as well, just so I could get used to the acoustics of the room. So I could start off in the middle, mixing, and then I find myself in the back to hear, okay, is the back missing certain things? What can I do to give the back a little something without killing the front of the room? And you saw me do that, right? Yeah. So I walk around the iPad. I walk around the iPad or a tablet, and I'm just walking around listening. And a lot of sound engineers don't do that. Only time I wouldn't do that is if say something happens where I forgot my iPad, which almost never happens. I usually have my iPad with me. But if I'm visiting a church, I just want to see how they're doing. And they're like, hey, Nate, can you mix for us? Or can you just for like 30 minutes, can you just mix for us? I have to go do something over here or whatever. I don't have my iPad. I'll start off with the audio mixer, balancing things out as best as I can. And then I'll walk to where the audience is at, or where they're mainly at. And I'll listen in, and I'll run back to the audio mixer, fix things. I know that at the sound booth, it sounds different from where the audience is. So you might see me run back and forth. Or I might just stay at the mixer at a certain point because I memorize to a certain, I memorize, just about memorize how the important parts of the room sounds. sounds. Yeah. So I can stay at the mixer at some point and just mix based off of memory. Okay, in the sound booth, there's not a lot of bass from the subwoofers, but where the congregation's sitting, if I do this, it's gonna sound really, really bassy. There'll be a lot of bass for them, and just maybe only a little bit of bass for the sound booth area. Yeah. But with the iPad, you can walk around and hear things in real time. Hear your changes. Yeah. Good question. Yeah, so it's a different experience when you have an iPad. You can even use your phone, but I like the bigger screen. And sometimes the phone's apps are different. Excuse me. Probably like less things that you can do on the phone compared to a tablet or an iPad. Normally, I realize that Apple's apps or the apps that are created for Apple products like iPads, to me they look better, easier to use than the ones that are created for Android devices. Yeah. Apple wins again. I have a Samsung phone. So I'm Samsung. Good questions. Anything else? Good. Okay. All right. So next week we will meet again, maybe for our last time virtually for the audio production side of things. Lewis, we will schedule a time to speak in private about me coming in and when we will start the video production classes. And are you guys going to Federation this Saturday?
To where?
Federation. Um, French Federation? I forgot what it's called. I'll probably go there. Thinking about it. Okay. Class is dismissed. See you guys next week. You guys have a great rest of your day. And I will post this. You're welcome, Lewis. I will post this in about maybe 2 days, if not tomorrow. Guys, take care. Have a great rest of your Sunday.